Yes, guys, you read the title right. Donald Trump can get more than 345 electoral college votes this cycle. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, and today I'm going to be talking about how Donald Trump can expand his lead that we already have for him in the electoral college. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel down below. Make sure to go ahead and follow Twitter and join the Discord server in the description down below, as well as chipping into our crowdfunding for our next Michigan and Pennsylvania polling. Here at On Point Politics, we collaborate with SoCal Research in order to do state and national polling for the 2024 presidential election. We are currently doing a poll for Virginia and already have done a national poll post-debate as well as a poll in Wisconsin. Make sure to go ahead and donate if you would like to support. All donations are greatly appreciated. As of right now, Donald Trump is the heavy favorite to win the 2024 presidential election. I'm actually going to supplement this video with a Twitter article that I actually just wrote very recently, just about an hour ago. Basically outlines everything. The former president is leading in the five-way national average on weareclearpolitics.com by 4.9 percentage points. This is one of the largest leads he's led since he basically led by 6 on the same website in early 2024 during January. Biden's approval rating is minus 19.3%, the lowest of any president going into a re-election bid just 120 days before the 2024 presidential election. President Biden has a 37.4% approval rating, according to 538 as of today, only 0.7 percentage points higher than H.W. Bush's approval rating at 36.7% on July 9th, 1992. So effectively, the guy who, if you actually look here, lost his re-election bid by a bunch of electoral votes because of high third-party turnout. Just like this year, there's going to be a lot of high third-party turnout this year compared to last cycles, which actually basically doomed Bush in the presidency. If it wasn't for Ross Perot, Bush probably would have been able to win this very, very narrowly. But we see here that Bush did end up losing by quite a massive amount. And a large third-party presence with an incumbent usually tends to hurt the incumbent quite a bit. And so I'm not going to be surprised if Biden actually loses in an electoral college landslide. Right here, we see Donald Trump leads in Arizona, Nevada, and Pennsylvania head-to-head polling against Joe Biden in the averages on Real Clear Politics by over 5% in each state, which is enough to get him 271 electoral college votes while maintaining all of his 2020 states, which will more than likely be the case because Donald Trump is expected to move the white vote to the right based off of our modeling from the 2020 cycle. Now, we basically hit on the fact that Donald Trump is already projected to get 345 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 143 in our model, and we have Donald Trump essentially getting around, winning the popular vote by 7 to 9 points based on historical polling errors, the current average, and the correlation between job approval ratings as well. And here's the thing, guys. Right now, it's actually very well known that usually approval ratings tend to correlate with the national popular vote share of, the incumbent's approval rating. So essentially, in 2020, Trump had a 46 percentage point approval rating. His national vote share was 46.9. Bush in 2004 had a 49.5% approval rating. He ended up getting like 50.7. So an incumbent with a low third-party turnout year usually ends up outperforming their approval rating by a point. A lot of people should have known that Obama probably would have won re-election just based off the fact of that alone. And if you look at the years where incumbents had high third-party turnout, even 1996, both incumbents, H.W. Bush and Clinton, actually underperformed their approval ratings by quite a bit. It was even to the point where H.W. Bush was actually in the low 50s in approval rating by the time the election came around, and Clinton was able to upset the election because Ross Perot got like 23% of the national popular vote. Not 23, but he still was able to get like 19, which is the largest third-party vote share in a pretty long time for a candidate like this. And we see, if we look over here, right now, a lot of Democrats that would be able to replace Joe Biden for the nomination actually tend to perform worse than other party than Joe Biden himself. Kamala Harris, in a poll where Donald Trump beats Biden by 4 in the national vote with third-party votes, by the way, a 3-point error miss from 2020 indicates Trump would win the popular vote by 7. Other Democrats, such as Kamala Harris and Gavin, trailed Trump by 6 and 8 points respectively in the Emerson poll. And other Democrats, if we actually look over here, we can actually see Clinton loses by 7, Al Gore loses by 5, Warren loses by 10, Shapiro loses by 8, Sanders loses by the same amount that Harris does, Whitmer loses by 10, and Buttigieg loses by 10 as well, funny enough. The more liberal Democrat candidates here seemingly actually get shellacked the most. So that's actually fairly interesting to look at. And so really going back to this, we see Donald Trump. Biden is the best shot the Democrats have, and that's not even saying much. And this is the most important part. We see here that Donald Trump, the RNC hasn't happened, and his VP pick has not happened yet. Donald Trump has not picked a VP. And when you look at polling data, candidates usually get a boost when they pick their VP. Joe Biden surged after he picked Harris. Trump surged after he picked Pence in 2016. So did Hillary when she picked Kaine. So it's very common to see boosts for candidates when they select their VP. And we have not had Trump even pick his VP yet. And the RNC hasn't happened. And party conventions usually boost a candidate in the aggregate by a little bit. However, usually what tends to happen, especially after the VP pick, is that a candidate tends to kind of average out a few points higher than the rest of the cycle. The convention bump is a little bit temporary, but the VP pick does have a lasting effect. And Trump is the one with the advantage with that this cycle because he's the one who's able to make his own VP pick. As well, we see here that both candidates agreed to a future debate, and I basically specify here, I'm not a professional doctor or someone who specializes in diagnosing anybody with any sort of mental diseases / complications, but it's apparent to me and the electorate that the president is showing mental signs of declining and possibly even has signs of Parkinson's, according to Dr. Tom Pitts, who appeared on CNN recently this week, who claims to be a registered Democrat himself. So looking over at the electoral map, we actually see that Joe Biden, while winning the popular vote by 4 points, 4.5 even, while getting over 50% of the electorate, barely won the electoral college. He barely won it with Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia very narrowly. If he would have lost these 3 states, he would have tied in the electoral college, and Donald Trump probably would have won through the House of Representatives. And so, looking at that now, if Donald Trump is expected, I mean, right now he's leading by an average of 5 in the 5-way race now, essentially. He leads by 4.9. You could raise basically rounded out to 5. If he leads by 5 before his VP pick, which is shown to boost candidates by about a point or 2 nationally, so that's about 7 points, and you see him gain with the RNC, that's going to give him a couple points because he gained like 2 points after the RNC, and Biden gained like about 2 to 3 points after the DNC in 2020. So if you see Donald Trump effectively go up to a pretty big lead of about like 8 to 9 points in the polling aggregate, you could see him win the popular vote of upwards to 12 points, which, to be honest, is not that far out of possibility. Is he going to hold that lead? Probably not, in my opinion. I don't think he would hold a 12-point lead in the popular vote. I really doubt he would hold that. I think it probably would go down a bit after the convention. But if he were to start leading by that, states like Georgia, North Carolina are like 14, 13-point wins. Arizona is like 12-point victory for Trump, maybe like 11 or 10. Nevada would be almost like a 15-point win at that point. To be honest, California would be like a 12-point win for Biden. Washington would be like a 6-7-point win for Biden. Oregon would be under 5 points. Hawaii, I would actually even argue, would be under 5 because the state has been trending to the right ever since 2008, and the whole Maui fire disaster and Biden's approval rating is not really helping him in the state of Hawaii either. And with third-party candidates, that's really going to affect him here. And I actually think the state would probably be a 2 or 3 point victory if Trump were to win the popular vote by about 11 or 12 points. At that point, states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania would be around 12 points each, maybe 11, I'd say. New Mexico, to be honest with you, would probably even be likely at that point. States like, for even Maine at large to an extent, would probably be in the likely column, including Nebraska at large, even to an extent. Even Maine's first would be under 5 points. You would have Rhode Island be likely, Connecticut would be likely, Delaware would probably even be in the lean Democrat column, probably like a 1 to 2 point victory for Biden. New York would probably be in the lean Democrat column for President Biden. Minnesota would probably be like a 3 to 4 point win. Colorado would be like probably a point victory for Trump. Virginia would be like 3 to 4. New Hampshire would be like almost a 5 point win at that point. New Jersey would be like about a 1 or 2 point victory, and Illinois would effectively be a toss-up state. You could argue that Trump could possibly even pick that off if he were to win the popular vote by 11 or 12 points. So you could see Donald Trump actually open up a pretty big lead in the coming weeks if the VP pick and the RNC give him a boost nationally even after the debate, which could very well happen. And I'm making a video just to pretense if Donald Trump starts winning in our average by 10, 11, 12 points. Don't be surprised if we have him winning by this amount, because it could very well possibly actually happen. And so if you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel down below. Make sure to go ahead and follow the Twitter and join the Discord server in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next video.